Michael Ogechi Abbey with Enterprise Express Tax Service. Today we are talking about the premium tax credit. There are two IRS forms that are related to this credit. One is called the Form 1095A, which is typically issued by the marketplace where you bought your health insurance from, and the Form 8962. The reason why this is important is I'm seeing a lot of clients who, when they come to us, once we calculate the premium tax credit, sometimes they end up owing money and sometimes they end up getting additional monies back. Of course, the ones who end up owing are usually quite frustrated because they didn't realize or they can't quite understand why they're owing. So here's what happens. If you buy health insurance from the health marketplace, in other words, Obamacare or however else it might be called, um, depending on your income, you may qualify for subsidies. It's these subsidies that make the health insurance, well, at least in the past, because rates have gone up, but that make the health insurance affordable. Okay. Now, what tends to happen most times is you are given these subsidies in advance. And then at the time of filing your tax return, the excess of the subsidies you have to pay back. And that's why sometimes when you file your tax return and the 1095A form is added and you do your calculations, it is quite possible that you will end up owing more money, or you may have a substantially reduced tax refund. And what's happening here is those subsidies, in other words, those credits towards the health insurance, or the excess of those, is now having to be paid back. So that's why it is very essential that you have a copy of your 1095A when you're filing your tax returns. You can do this by downloading it from the website. In Maryland, we have the marketplace healthcare.gov website, and this is, of course, if you bought your health insurance from the marketplace, and you can download the form 1095A. It's a tax form, okay? And when you download that, you can then apply it to your tax filing, and that'll give you a better idea of where you are, whether you had excess or whether you didn't have access. And then also that will determine if you are going to have to pay back, or if you're going to get a refund, a bigger refund due to the premium tax credit. So just to give some understanding of that, again, the two IRS forms that you need to pay attention to here are the 1095A. Remember, there are different types of tax health forms. There's a 1095C, of course, the 1095A, and there's a 1095B. In this case, you want to pay attention to the 1095A, okay? And of course, another form is the 8962 as well. Those are the two forms that you need to pay attention to. One more thing is this. If you file the tax return and you had health insurance through the marketplace, the IRS will most likely not process your tax return if you don't include the 1095A. And so this causes a lot of delay to a lot of people who are filing tax returns who had health insurance through the marketplace, but somehow either forgot or just, didn't realize that they have to file it with a 1095A. As a matter of fact, what we're noticing these days is that the return, the electronic filing of the return, will not be accepted by the IRS if a 1095A is required. Remember that the marketplace sends their version of the 1095A to the IRS. And so when you file your tax return and you e-file it, if there is a requirement for the 1095A, the IRS computers just will not process your return. So it's extremely important that you determine and find out if you have a 1095A so that it can be included in your tax return. Here's another issue that we come across a lot of times is when people halfway through the years, let's say they change jobs and they no longer need the health insurance from the marketplace, or maybe they just had the health insurance from the marketplace for 2 months, 3 months. I've even seen cases of just 1 month, and then they get a different job that provides health insurance. And so the tendency most times is that they forget that they had health insurance through the marketplace. Or sometimes it could be a partner of theirs who had health insurance through the marketplace and they're filing joint. And so they don't realize that they have a 1095A, floating around somewhere. And then, they all of a sudden find out that they now have this requirement to file the 1095A with their taxes. So my thing is just, before you file, check and see if you did by any chance have health insurance through the marketplace. Make sure you go online. It's pretty easy. You go online and you download the form and then include it as part of the documents that you're going to file your tax return with. So I hope that explains some of the issues that you have with the premium tax credit. I hope this also explains what, in basic terms, what the health insurance premium tax credit is. It's almost like a subsidy to help those who are within a certain income range to pay for health insurance that's purchased through the marketplace. Once again, this is Michael Legacy Abbey with Enterprise Express Tax Service. Bye.